Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Football Talk. And today, your boy will be reacting to I played College Football 26 early, and here's the truth by Eric Rayweather. Now, I have seen multiple similar title videos about people playing it early and the good and the bad, and you know what was changed. But I gotta go to my boy Eric Rayweather and see what he says on this one right here. I might check out some other ones also. I know Good Game Bro has one out already. I think it came out maybe a day or two ago, maybe. Might check out his as well. But without further ado though, let's jump right into this, baby. Let's go. Okay, let's hop into this.
Last week, I was able to go down to EA Sports and play College Football 26 early. So in this video, I'm going to give you all the details you need to know. I'm going to give you my hands-on impressions and what I experienced while playing the game. This is going to mostly be centered around gameplay and some presentation things that I experienced while playing, because I can't really speak too much on the game modes and other stuff yet, because EA did want us to wait until the deep dive.
Sorry for the handling noise if you hear it.
On that on their website already, so you guys have a decent idea of what's coming for Dynasty and Road to Glory. But I will say all of the finer details and the little things that they added, they didn't really reveal all of that just yet, and I think you guys will be pretty happy when those deep dives come out. Now, I'm not sure exactly when those deep dives are rolling out. I know they're going to all come out before the release of this game, but they're a little behind schedule on it, I believe, so they're going to be packing a lot of information into a short amount of time when they do drop. I don't know the dates just yet, but they will be coming soon. But if you don't want to miss out on any of that deep dive information or the game,
I'd say probably in a couple of weeks or so they should come out with like the gameplay deep dive and all that.
Go live today. There was no signups for it.
They went live today?
Who gets to play. Some people got emails, some didn't. So check your emails. I don't think it really.
That's why all these videos are coming out. Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna have codes to give away. I might not. I can't guarantee it. But if I do get some to give away, I will be doing it on my social platforms here if you want to follow me over there.
So, what do you think? Oh, Coco. It's V.
So let's just start right out the gate. The best way that I can describe the gameplay of this game, if you liked College Football 25's gameplay, there's no reason you shouldn't like 26. You'll probably like it even more. If you were a little bit more on the fence about
even more, oh, I know a lot of people are going to be excited about that.
Then you might like 26 a lot more. If you absolutely hated 25's gameplay, if it was just not your style of game, if you thought it was too fast, the player movement was too quick, then I don't think you're going to really like 26 much more, because 26's gameplay is building off of 25. It feels like College Football 25 with some good improvements made. But if you just didn't like the style of 25,
that's what a lot of people, that's all a lot of people wanted. I mean, 25 was already a masterpiece,
because it's still going to have the same fast movement, the same snappy feeling. It's really high powered and fast paced. So if that's not kind of the style you like, for example, if you preferred Madden 25's gameplay movement more, because some people do, yeah, College 26,
yeah, the slower down pace, I could definitely see that.
Improvements added. So let's start off with the wear and tear, because that's something they did mention in their reveal blog, and this is something that they're trying to take a little bit of a step further this year. This was a big feature
so
for them last
cool
year.
to
It was
see.
something kind of brand new to football gaming altogether, the way they implemented it. And on their website, they specifically said,
and a lot of people don't give that
the
credit.
wear and tear system delivers more realism and is now fully customizable to fit your playstyle. Manage fatigue strategically and save your favorite playmakers for key moments with dynamic substitutions that allow you to rotate players in and out on the fly. No pause screen needed. So basically, when looking at wear and tear, there's kind of two things this year to think about. Number one, they said it's fully customizable. So now there are settings where you can customize your wear and tear. Now, this is really bigger for, I think, like Dynasty players, because if you play online, you can't really ever mess with settings and sliders like that. But if you're playing in Dynasty mode, and I would think this would apply to Road to Glory as well.
This is definitely me. I'm definitely an offline player.
If you want the hits to have more of an impact, or if you think, hey, maybe
never really been a
they
fan
made
of the
way too much
online play.
I would lean that way. I think last year, at times, wear and tear sometimes was a little too crazy. I think certain body parts were impacted too much for things that were happening on the field.
Yeah,
So
I did hear that from a lot of
you can
people
customize it to
complaining
really your
about
liking,
that,
which I
like
think is great.
especially
I
like
think
the
any
shoulder
feature in
one
the
for
game that can
quarterbacks.
have a setting or slider for it, that should be offered, because you should be able to tailor the game exactly how you want it if you're an offline player. So now you can do that with wear and tear. They also did
That's
mention
pretty
that wear
cool
and
to
tear
see.
now also being more career based, which I think somebody's already put that info out in an article, so that's not really news, even if I maybe shouldn't be talking about that specifically just yet. But it's going to be more career based versus season based, so kind of a little bit more strategy, a little more thought that has to go into your wear and tear. They also did mention that the weather is going to play impacts on wear and tear now as well. And we also saw in the trailer where the QB was kind of like rotating his arm as if his arm was tired. To me, I'm pretty sure this was a new animation. I saw a couple people saying that they've seen this before, and maybe I've seen it too, and it's just one of those things that you kind of forget that you've seen, because it's kind of just something that's in the background almost, in a sense. Like, you're not focused directly on that, you're focused more on playing itself. So maybe that was already there, but I was told that there are more animations for wear and tear, so you're going to see players moving their arms and legs and stuff like that based on injured body parts. I don't know if it's going to be specifically just QBs or if it's going to be other players as well, but there is some more visual work done there. Now that brings us into the substitutions, because that kind of goes along with the wear and tear, where they talk about these substitutions on the fly. So now
Where you don't have to go to the pause screen and stuff.
You can press your D-pad and it brings up your roster that's on the field. And if you want to go switch out your running back 1 for your running back 2 or
that
3,
is going to
or,
be
you notice
so
that your
cool,
slot
especially in
receiver's getting really banged up, maybe you're going to him a lot. You can substitute
like
that
Road
slot
to
receiver out and
not
maybe
Road
bring
to
in your
Glory.
4th
What
wide
is it?
receiver, and basically at the next play,
Yeah,
it will
Road to-
substitute those guys out.
I done
So
forgot.
you don't have to do it on the play call screen, or maybe if you forgot to do it at the play call screen, you can do it while you're on the field, which I think is cool. Kind of think of NBA 2K. If you've played that, you know that you can like
Yeah,
pull
I
up the
was just
substitutions
about to
while you're
say
on the
that.
court, and you can like
2K
toggle through and switch players
definitely
out, and
rings
like,
a
at the
bell.
next time out, it'll switch those players out.
I used to
also
be-
gotta keep in mind,
your
Scotty
boy was going
Gallagher, the head of
crazy on
gameplay,
2K at
he
one
came
point in
from
time.
2K. So he was there, during the time where that
What
was
was it,
implemented in
15 with the
2K.
KD
he's
one
bringing
on
over
it?
some of that good stuff he did with 2K. He's bringing it now to football, which is credit at sign
There's the code right
are
there
all
if
new
you guys need
archetypes
it.
too in the game this year. I don't know all the specific ones. Some of them have probably been leaked by now, especially with the beta being out. But basically, every position has about like 4 to 5 different archetypes, and this doesn't just apply to like skill players. This applies to offensive linemen, D tackles, everybody. So there's so much more customization in what type of player you want to be, maybe in Road to Glory, or the type of players you can be recruiting in your dynasties and stuff like that. So there's a lot more customization there, and the new archetype system, I think they did a pretty good job with this. They've really nailed like all the different types of players you could have at each position. There's also been some good work done with the pocket QB play. I can't get too deep on this just yet because I don't think they've really talked about this in any of their stuff, but there are some different things going on with the pocket and passing lanes, and something they're calling QB vision, and it's not a vision cone, so don't think that. I don't know if they're ever bringing something like that back. It's not that, but there
What was
is
vision
some
cone?
definite work done with the pocket and the passing lanes and the vision that your QB has. I think people are really gonna like
I might gotta
this, but
see
don't
what-
wanna
I
go
got-
too
I might
deep on
gotta,
this yet 'cause
see
I
what
don't
that
know
looks
what
like
all's been
after
revealed.
the recording.
Also, this is going to play a big factor for the CPU QBs. Think of the awareness rating, something that's really never mattered much in a lot of these football games.
That's one of the, I ain't gonna lie to you, that's one of the biggest things that like I would love to see improve is like the CPU play. Like especially with the quarterback decisions. It sometimes seems like, and this has been like one of my pet peeves in Madden, because I do play mostly against the CPU. The quarterback doesn't seem to understand like the down and distance. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Let me know in the comments below. Have you like ever like got that feeling, or like just seen a play where it's just like, or even just watching the simulation, it's like, why is he throwing that out of bounds when he got a guy right there in the flat? Like, I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if y'all
We can
ever got
tell
that same.
now, at least for CPU QBs, it's going to matter in how they're seeing the field and their progressions and things like that. Again, trying not to go too deep on this because I think this is one of the few things that isn't really out there too much yet. We will find out more about that in the gameplay deep dive, and I think you guys are going to like that a lot. Another area that they did a ton of work was run blocking. They didn't speak a whole lot on pass blocking when I was down there, but run blocking is kind of something they really overhauled completely, I think, for both games. They want to make it to where you can really get busy between the tackles and that the running lanes make sense. The guy that they got working on this, or a couple guys that got working on this, are guys that were players in the NFL that played in the trenches. So, I mean, they're the right guys to kind of talk about this stuff and build these things out. Run blocking's been one of those things with both Madden and even old college games where sometimes, guys are just passing up the obvious guy that they need to block, or the double team isn't really getting,
Yeah, I've definitely seen, especially in the
so
older
they did a ton of work with this.
14.
I only played the game for a little bit of time, and
Goodness.
it felt okay to me, but this is one of those things truly you don't know until you play the game for a while. There's been many years where they say they've overhauled blocking, they've done a lot of work with blocking, and then when the game's out and you play it for about a week or two, you're not really seeing it. It doesn't really look any better. So this is one of those things I can't just confidently say, yes, this is 100% better. The little that I played, it felt fine. It felt like you definitely could get busy running the ball, which is a great thing. They definitely put a ton of work in on this. It's not a lack of effort. How it's going to play out on the field when we're playing this game for long periods of time, that remains to be seen. It just is what it is. We can't really confidently speak on that until the game is out longer. They added, I think they said 2,700 new plays, so even if you just divide that up between all
That
of
is
the team playbooks in
crazy.
the game, that would break down to about 20 new plays per playbook, which is pretty good when you consider there's like 136 playbooks in the game.
Goodness.
We all love having new plays. I don't think there's a single person that's going to be against new plays in the game, whether you're an online competitive sweaty player or you're a dynasty player. You like having new plays.
I'm
So,
just
they
not
even mentioned
involved in
specifically
like the
Rice's
playbook and stuff, so
modern
I would not
option. They
even
also
know
mentioned
what
some
is
stuff that Penn
new
State
or
runs.
not.
I did actually check that out when I played. That stuff looks
'Cause I
pretty
just go to
fun, but,
coach's
there was too
suggestions.
many new plays to dive into them all, but we're always a fan of new plays. Always add new plays. That's a good thing. They did bring physics-based tackling to the game. This is something that was new in Madden last year. It was called Boom Tech. And this is the thing. There were some good parts about it in Madden. There were some other parts that weren't polished. And this is what I've learned from EA over the years because I've covered Madden for a long time. Any major gameplay shift that they make is always going to be a little rough in the first year. There's going to be good parts. There's going to be parts
And
that
that's
still
that's
aren't
with
polished.
other
There's gonna be
games
parts
as
that are
well,
still janky.
not
In
just
year two, it gets
sports.
significantly better. I mean, Madden 19, they introduced real player motion. Wasn't that great that year. In Madden 20, the player movement was
You know what's
much
crazy?
better.
I've
They've done
never
this with
played Madden
passing systems
19.
over the years. Other times
That
they've
was the
done
one I,
tackling
like,
and physics
skipped
in the
on.
past. Same thing. Always way better in year two. So I think this is the
And I
right
went
time
right to
for
20,
college
and
to
then
be
I
getting
went
this
up to
because it's
20
much
to,
more polished,
what,
but
23?
also, even from talking with Scott
22?
down there, he said that, the way the boom tech and things kind of played out last year, as the year went on, he said, he himself specifically, he wasn't completely happy with how that looked, and he said this year he thinks it just looks a ton better, and this is kind of how they really envisioned it going. And I think this is the number one thing. If you're a person that played a lot of this game last year, this should be the number one thing that stands out to you when you play the game this year. The tackling, the physics,
Okay.
the way
So the
players are
tackling
animated,
has
falling
got a
after getting
dramatic
hit, the
overhaul
reactions
from the
off of
boom
these
tech.
hits
I
and
like
the
to
way
see
the ball
that.
carriers move versus defenders. This should be, in my opinion, the number one thing that stands out to you as improved. Even though they're improving wear and tear and blocking and some of the QB play, I think this is the biggest improvement that kind of jumps off the screen at you. So I'm curious to see how you guys feel about it when you get to play. I do think this is one of the bigger upgrades for the gameplay. Sticking with the defensive side of the ball, one of the bigger things they said was the DB play. You have to see the ball to play the ball. So basically, you really won't be able to get those over-the-shoulder interceptions anymore. And it depends on the type of player you are here, because if you're an online player, you're a competitive type player, you hate this. You see the ball yourself, you want to go get it even if your player's back is turned. If you're a more sim player, you love this, because when do you see a player intercept the ball that he can't see? Now, he can go swat the ball. You
That's
can do that,
facts.
right? Because if you're trailing a receiver, you're going to look at his eyes.
Or
when
might
he
hit
puts his hands
might
up,
hit
you
the
might
guy
try to
in
put
the
your hands up and
numbers
swat it down. You
on
can
the back of
definitely
the
still
shoulder
do that.
pad.
That's
We've definitely
realistic,
seen
but
that
those guys are never going
a
for
lot
interceptions
in real
because
life.
they can't see the ball. So we'll see how this plays out. I mean, like I said, I played the game for a little bit. I didn't get any back-turned interceptions when I played, but one thing you got to realize with EA is there's a lot of updates that happen throughout the year. There's a lot of complaining that happens from people that play the game, so things like this could be adjusted throughout the year. But at the start of the year,
That's
you should have to see the ball
100%
before to actually
true.
play the ball. And they said when you see the ball, you will notice the DBs will be more aggressive in attacking the ball that they do see, which is good. We want to see that. But if the back is turned, you got to click on and go for that swat. You're not getting the over-the-shoulder interception. Some other key additions to defense include things like stunts and twists. Finally, we got that back in football gaming, and it's not really a set play that you could do this with. You can change the stunts on any play at the play call screen by holding down one of the buttons. I forget which button it is, and there's a bunch of different stunts and twists. There's like 10 to 15 different ones you can do. I forget the exact number, but you can stunt and twist the line in a bunch of different ways on any play, which is great. The only bad thing that this could open up is somebody might find a way to get a little glitchy with it with a certain play. I can almost guarantee
You
that happens.
already
That's
gonna
if you're
know.
opening your
You
stuff,
already
you
gonna
put
see
this
on
in there.
Twitter.
Somebody's
Gonna
find
post a
way to
clip
stunt
and
twist
it's gonna
get
go
some instant pressure.
viral.
But if you're more of a dynasty player, a sim player, this is great for you because you just want to be able to kind of get unique and do the things that they would do in real life. They also added custom zones to the game, which is another cool thing as well. I think this is really going to be bigger for the competitive crowd. I don't think for the offline crowd this is going to be as big of a deal. But basically, just think of route stemming last year. That's basically the defense's version of that. You can stem your zone as far back as you want, which is similar to the zone drops that you already have in your coaching adjustments, but this way you can do it individually on the field. So if you're in a Tampa 2 and you want to just drop one of your cloud flats 20 or 30 or 40 yards back for whatever reason because you're worried about a player on that side being on a deep corner route or something, you can just drop that one flat way far back and your other one on the other side of the field will just play at normal depth. So that's a pretty cool feature, but again, I think it's bigger for the competitive crowd. And they also have safety splits this year, which I don't know if they've talked too much about this, but I've definitely seen a bunch of other people talk about it, so I don't think it's news. You can set your safeties to line up certain ways at the play call screen, so you can have them favor the boundary side or the field side. You could have them both line up tight or both spread out wide. So if you're worried about corner routes on each outside of the field or, you know, maybe deep routes down the sideline, you can say, hey, I want both of my safeties to just split out very wide and not give up anything on the sideline, or I want them to come really inside because I'm worried about post routes, or I want them both to line up closer to the line of scrimmage maybe because you're worried about the run. I think that is a very, very good addition. That it's a real football thing too, so we love to see that. Some other things that I noticed while playing, which I think are cool, you'll see the AI on defense actually shift on the field. They won't just shift right out of the huddle. They'll actually, shift their line. And that's something we've seen a lot in real football, how D-lines are kind of shifting at the last second, trying to confuse the offense. You'll see the D-lines actually do that in game now. You'll see safeties and stuff maybe, move around a little bit more pre-snap. So that's cool because you would only really see this in a user versus user game. You wouldn't really see the CPU do this. Now they will. Home field advantage. This is something that is kind of polarizing because at times I'll tell you I hate it, but it's also real football at the end of the day. They've upped the home field advantage. It's going to be even harder than last year. I won't go too specific on all the things. And a big thing that has been put out there by a number of people, this is going to be in online games now too, which I know a lot of people aren't going to like that. But the college team is more on realism, I think, than Madden in the terms of those things where they don't care if people complain about it. If you go online, you're going to have to deal with home field advantage, just like real teams have to deal with home field advantage.
Oh yeah, I have
every year.
definitely
So
seen
it's
some
a
like
polarizing thing, but
YouTubers
it's
talk
gonna be a
about
bigger
how they
factor
did
this
not
year.
like the home advantage.
Another small thing,
But it's
it's
just
also
part
a
of the
big thing,
game.
they did update the position terminology. They did announce this for Madden. They didn't officially announce it for college, but one of the devs did say it on Twitter already, so it's out there. You're going to have the edge position, the gadget position, all of that stuff, that updated terminology, that's going to be there for college as well. Another thing I noticed while playing
These
is it seemed like the
screenshots,
body types
oh
are a little bit more
my
accurate.
goodness,
A
looks
lot of the
so
QBs last
good.
year were really big and bulky for some reason, so I think you'll see less of that. At least when I played, I did. It seems like the guys that are supposed to be
Yeah,
lean that
Madden,
way this year, which I
like,
think is a good visual
every
thing for the
other
game.
year they
And then
get
in
the
terms of
body
presentation, this is stuff
really,
that I
really
noticed, but
good.
also, this isn't
And then them
all, like, a
other
big
years,
secret 'cause
my
they showed a lot of
goodness.
this in the reveal trailer. They did add more team runouts this year, so some of the teams that didn't have their specific ones last year, you're going to see a lot more of those this year in the game. They added a number of new mascots. Again, you see some of these in the trailer, so more teams are going to be even more authentic than they were last year, which just makes the game better because the biggest thing about this game is how accurate things are, is that environment, the pageantry, all of that stuff. So the fact that more teams are going to be even more accurate than they were last year and have these additions is great. I won't spoil this because they didn't touch on this specifically, but there's one mascot that is in the game that I would go out on a limb and say everybody loves this mascot. Every single person loves this mascot. It's a fan favorite. Maybe that's a big enough of a hint as to what mascot it is, but I won't say it. But that mascot
Didn't they
is in
ever
the
have the
game now.
Oregon one?
Even in the trailer, they showed
The
more
Oregon
band
Duck?
formations when I was playing. I saw this with some of the certain teams. You're going to see more teams do the band stuff instead
Was
of
the
like just
Oregon Duck
Ohio
not in
State
college
last year.
football
Maybe a
25?
couple other teams did, but you'll see it more often. Another thing they showed in the trailer were a ton of new turnover celebrations. I saw a couple of these while I played, but again, all the presentation stuff they had last year, they're just building on top of it. More teams are having more customizations done to make them look like real life. You're going to hear more crowd chants this year than last year. There's obviously more music in the game that was already leaked, like Mr. Brightside from Michigan. There's a ton of new music in the game. So again, kind of repeating myself.
Is
but
Sweet
they're
Caroline
piling on
already
top
in
of
the game
good
in
presentation they
25?
already had, and they're giving you more stuff from more teams.
Because I haven't seen anybody play with
like South Carolina. They had their intro last year, but it wasn't completely accurate.
What's the school that has the Sweet Caroline?
They kind of nailed that one down this year. That's like a good example of like they changed what was wrong
can't
about it and
remember.
made it even 10 times better. So if you're an SC fan, you'll like that. And another big thing that leaked, one of the first things that leaked, everybody kind of knows this by now, but dynamic lighting is in the game. And I don't want to spoil everything on this because I don't want you to think of dynamic lighting as simply just, oh, you start a game at 6, there's light outside, and at the end of the game, it's nighttime outside. No, dynamic lighting isn't just going to be based on time of day. I won't spoil too much more because I don't want to overstep here, but just think of what else
You got
can
me
affect
interested
lighting
now.
outside of just simply time of day.
Come
It goes
on,
much
can't blue
deeper
ball
than
me
that,
like
and I think
that.
that just shows
Come on,
the
Eric.
attention to detail that they paid to this game. We'll find out more about that really soon.
Man, oh man, that was a lot of information. But two things that I really took away from this, well, it was a lot, but two things that really stood out to me. First and foremost, I want to know more about the dynamic lighting. Like, that sounds like something that might not be a big deal to a lot of people, but once you see it, it gives you a whole new like way of seeing like a college football video game. You know what I mean? The other one, what was the other one? Oh, the mascot. He talked about that it's a beloved, like everybody loves this mascot. And I could swear the Oregon Ducks mascot was already in the game. If it's something else, I don't know. I don't know. But let me know in the comments below how you feel about College Football 26, how you felt about the trailer. If you did get early access, let me know in the comments below. What did you like? What you didn't like? What would you like to see improve? That's going to do it for me, guys. See you guys in the next one.